In the 1970s, the United States Air Force built two fighter jets, the F-15 Eagle and the F-16 Falcon. Both are fine jets with a long history of excellent performance in a number of different missions. But the F-16 was developed in half the time and about half the cost of the F-15, and it's physically about half the size, so it's considerably smaller than the F-15. What's interesting, though, is when we look at the documentation that led to these two aircraft, we find that the statement of work, the document that says, here are the requirements, the things that this aircraft needs to do, the statement of work for the F-16 was only 25 pages long. For the F-15, it was 250 pages, so it was an order of magnitude longer. Proposals for the F-16 were limited to 60 pages. Proposals for the F-15 weighed in at upwards of 2,000 pages, so 2 orders of magnitude more for the F-15's proposals. No wonder, then, that the F-15 ended up costing twice as much and taking twice as long. You see, the documentation is a symptom of the larger ethos, the larger values that shaped the decision-making and the problem-solving that went into these two aircraft. Again, they're both fine aircraft, but if we can get an F-16 for half the cost and half the time of the F-15, that's probably a better way to go. Fast forward to the 2010s, the Pentagon made headlines when it was announced that the recipe for a military brownie, the brownie that goes into the combat rations, the specs for that were captured in a 26-page document. That's 1 page more than the F-16. And I've eaten a couple of them, and I can tell you, you can taste every single page. The lesson here is that complexity is not a sign of sophistication. Complexity is not inevitable. It's not even necessary. It is entirely possible to write a 25-page document that leads to the production of an advanced fighter jet that serves well for more than 50 years. In fact, according to the Air Force's fact sheet, the F-16's combat radius exceeds that of all current or potential threat aircraft, and we expect to get upwards of 50 years of service out of that particular fighter. So when we sit down to write our documents, I recommend that we try to keep it to 25 pages or less. If you can get an F-16 out of a 25-page document, you really never need to write a 26-pager.